Hello everyone. Now let us go into the next problem in our projection of solid series. The question here in front of us is a hexagonal prism, 25 mm sides of base and 60 mm axis length rests on HP on one of its edges of the base. Draw the projections of the prism when the axis is inclined to HP at 40 degrees and to VP at 30 degrees. So let us look at the criteria which we are supposed to satisfy to obtain the solution to this problem. So the first criteria is a hexagonal prism, that is the shape. The second criteria, the dimensions, 25 mm sides of base and 60 mm axis length. Third criteria is it is resting on HP. Fourth criteria is it is resting on one of its edges of the base on HP. Fifth criteria is axis is inclined to HP at 40 degrees and the same axis is inclined to VP at 30 degrees. Yes, this is again another beta angle problem. I think all the problems which we will be solving for the time being is all beta angle problems only. The first step in solving the solution is to draw the XY line or the reference line. So I have X, Y, VP at HP. So now we have to draw a hexagonal prism of 25 mm sides of base. So for that I will follow the same circle method to draw the hexagon and it's going to be resting on one of its edges of the base on HP. So for that, for the second position criteria, I'm going to prepare for it in the first position itself. Okay. Right. Next, I will draw the perpendicular diameter. From here again the same 25 mm. I shall keep it here and I will cut the arcs. So I have my 6 points which I shall draw with proper visible line. I think my previous video my head was coming to the picture, so I will try to be careful over here. And the center of the circle is my CG, okay, which is basically my O bracket O1. That is, so let us start off with A bracket A1, B bracket B1, C bracket C1, D bracket D1, E bracket E1, and we have F bracket F1, right? So we have totally of 6 corners in our problem. So let us draw the projection dimensions now. The dimensions which is 25 mm. So draw the projection line from each of these points. So total height happens to be 60 mm. So I shall satisfy that particular criteria. So as you can see, the axis line in edge condition of hexagon will not be visible. Okay. So I have my A1 dash bracket B1 dash, A dash bracket B dash. This is F1 dash bracket O1 dash bracket C1 dash. This is F dash bracket O dash bracket C dash. This here is E dash bracket D dash E1 dash bracket D1 dash, and the total length happens to be how much? 60 mm. Is that right? So here we have satisfied all the three criteria, that is shape, dimension, and it is resting on HP, and we have also prepared for it to be resting on one of its base edges on HP in the second position. Here only we have prepared for it. We have drawn it in edge condition, that is two edges on both sides. Now as per our figure, it can either rest on A1 dash bracket B1 dash or E1 dash bracket D1 dash. That is, I have a choice here. I can either rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise. By rotating it clockwise, it will end up resting on A1 dash bracket B1 dash. If I rotate it anti-clockwise, it will end up resting on E1 dash bracket D1 dash. Okay, so both of them are correct only. So, but however, I'll choose A1 dash bracket B1 dash, and the axis, this edge and the axis line are both parallel to each other. So I should start off by drawing this A1 dash bracket B1 dash to A dash bracket B dash first. So I shall choose an appropriate point first. Okay. So which will be my A1 dash bracket B1 dash, and the axis is inclined at 40 degrees to HP, right? The total length is 60 mm. Again, so I shall measure 60 mm on the using the ruler and the compass. Keeping it here, I shall cut the arc. I shall get my A dash bracket B dash and A1 dash bracket B1 dash. Right? Now from this point, I shall draw two perpendicular lines. Okay. Now I'll measure the distance from A1 dash bracket B1 dash to E dash bracket D1 dash. We are not really bothered about what its exact length or value is. Let us assume it has some X value, but which we have measured using the compass over here. So after measuring that, I shall keep it here, cut the arcs, right? So this point here becomes my E dash bracket D dash, and this point here becomes my E1 dash bracket D1 dash. Right, so we shall join all these points with proper visible lines. And get our second position. Front view, and exactly half of that will be my axis line. After measuring that, I shall cut the arcs again. Here, as you can see, I have not drawn the axis line because it is hidden behind the edge F bracket F1 or F2 F1. It is hidden behind that. Then from here, I'll extrapolate this line backwards. So this will be 40 degrees. If initially I had measured this angle over here, this line over here to be a 40 degrees with respect to the XY line, this line will also be 40 degrees automatically because both these lines are parallel to each other. From here on, I shall draw the projection lines from each of these points. So, and this point here is my F dash bracket O dash bracket C dash, F1 dash bracket O1 dash bracket C1 dash, right? And again from here, So D1 dash bracket B1, D bracket D1 and B bracket B1 will be in the same straight line. Okay. And similarly, E bracket E1 and A bracket A1 will also be in a same straight line. And finally, my F bracket F1. So locate all these points now. So I have my point A, B, C, D, E and F. Similarly, A1, B1, C1, D1, E1 and F1. Right? So again, we shall be following our rules again. The rules to identify the hidden line. Right? The first rule is to draw all the outermost points with proper visible lines. So A to B, B to C, C to C1, C1 to D1, D1 to E1, E1 to F1, F1 to F, and again F back to A. Next, identify the points or overlapping points closest to the XY line or touching the XY line. So it happens to be A1 dash bracket B1 dash. So any line coming out of A1 and B1 will be hidden line. So from A1 it is A1 to F1, A1 to A and A1 to B1. So all these three lines are not outermost edges, so they are automatically hidden lines, right? Next, again similarly we will be doing the same thing for B1. So B1 to C1, B1 to A1 and B1 to B. B1 to A1 we have already drawn, but B1 to C1, let us draw now. B1 to B, and finally all the other remaining lines are visible lines. So D to C, D to E and E to F, and similarly here also E to E1 and D to D1. So when there is an overlapping of visible line and hidden line, as I told you before, the preference is given to the visible line, right? And finally I have my axis line which I'll draw from here. So this is my O and this is my O1. So here again we are satisfied two more criteria. It is received of its base edges on HP and the axis is inclined at 40 degrees to HP. Next, what we will do is, again, I shall draw a line which is parallel to the XY line because it makes it easy for me. So I shall take an appropriate point and from there I'll draw a 30-degree line. So as you people know already, this is another beta angle problem. So from here I shall draw a 30-degree line. Right? Now follow the same procedure which you've been doing to identify the beta angle. So O2, O1 from the first position, keeping it here, cutting the arc. Okay, then again come to the second position, O2, O1, keeping it here, again I'll cut the arc. So this becomes my point O, this becomes my point O1, right? So I shall join this and extrapolate this line backwards all the way to the XY line. So this is my beta angle. So the beta angle which we have gotten is, on the dot 45 degrees. Right? So next step is to draw the recreation of the second position top view and the third position top view. So I prefer to go by this way. So I already have my point O and O1. So let me locate C and F. So for that, from point O, I shall draw two perpendicular lines. Okay, then from O to C I shall measure, which will be the same as O to F over here, O to C, O1 to C1, O1 to F1 and O to F. All the four will be the same. So keeping it here, I shall cut the arcs. Next, so I have my point C, C1, F1 and F. Next, I shall be able to locate my point A. So for that, what I'll do is I'll measure from A to O or O to A, which will be the same as O to B, O1 to D1 and O1 to E1. Similarly, I shall measure from B to C, okay, B to C or C to B, which will be the same as F to A, which will be the same as F1 to E1 and C1 to D1, right? So I have my point A, B, C, F. This will be my E1 and this is my D1, right? Next we are supposed to locate the points A1, B1, E and D. That same way we can do that, O to D, O to E, O1 to B and O1 to A1, right? So I'll cut the arcs on the inside. So kindly please be careful when you are drawing these arcs. Again, O to B1 I shall measure, cutting the arc here, and from O1 here and here, right? So this is my point E, this is my point A1, this is my point B1 and this is my point D. Right. So join all these points with proper visible line and we shall get our second, third position top view. So from here I have another visible line. Oh, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, this is supposed to be a hidden line. Please forgive my error. And finally, I have my right. So, and this is my axis line here. So I have O2, O1. Now here, from here on, we can go on to draw the projection lines to get the front view. So let us draw first from the point A, B, C, D, E, F. Then we shall locate all the points with respect to A1, B1, C1, D1 and E1. So from point A, from point B, point C, point D, point E, and point F. Right? So from here also we'll draw the projection lines. A and A dash are meeting as my new A. B and B dash are meeting as my new B. C and C dash are meeting as my new C. D and D dash are meeting as my new D. E and E dash are meeting here. C, D, E. And finally F and F dash are meeting here. This is my new F. F dash. Right? So similarly, I'll draw the projection line from here also. A1, P1, C1, D1 and E1 and this is F1, right? So from here, so locate the points again. So I have my A and A1 being meeting here. So my new A1, A1 dash. B and B1 are meeting here. This is my new B1 dash. C and C1 are meeting here. This is my new C1 dash. D and D1 are meeting here. This is my new D1 dash. E and E1 are meeting here. This is my new E1 dash. And finally F and F1 are meeting here. This is my new F1 dash. Right? So again, let us apply the rules again. Join all the outermost points with proper visible lines. So A and A1, A1 to B1, B1 to C1, C1 to D1, D1 to D, D1, D to again E, E to F, and F back to A. Right? The next tool is, this is a hexagon. So identify the points which is closest to the XY line. In this case, since a hexagon, we'll have to identify 3 points. So here I actually have a dilemma. So either it is point A or D. The first 2 points are obviously B and C, but I'm not sure if it is whether it is A or D. So I shall take the point A because it seems to be closer as per my drawing. So please have a look at it. Okay. So any line coming out of C and B will be hidden line. The other one is my point A or my point D. I think we are safe here because both of them are hidden lines only. So from C to D, I have a hidden line. C dash to C1 dash. Okay, and C dash to B dash, right? And coming to B again, B dash to B1 dash, B dash to A dash, and B dash to C dash, which we have already drawn. And as I told you, since it looks like point A, which is closest to the XY line, so even if I take A dash to B dash, which we have already drawn as a hidden line, A dash to F dash outer edge, and A dash to A1 dash is also an outer edge. Or if as per, if you feel that D is the one, so let us have a look at it. So D dash to E dash outer edge cannot be hidden line. D dash to D1 dash again outer edge cannot be hidden line. But D dash to C dash we have already drawn. Now the fourth rule is join all the outermost points with visible line, right? And we also have our axis line, which is over here. So join them with the axis line, right? Small dash, big dash, small dash, big dash. So this is my point O, this is my point O1 dash. So we have our solution. Thank you for your time.